This will be my second LTspice video, a short video on how to do a DC operating point. So kind of showed you last time how to draw a circuit, but one of the things that you need to know is when we come in here and we drag a component down here, and let's say we want a voltage source, and I click OK, and I place that here. And again, to get out of it, I'm just going to hit escape to get rid of that. And now I want to put in, say, a resistor. And I can rotate that by hitting Control and R. I can place that. And then the next thing I can do is, I always need to have a ground node in here. Hit escape, and then to draw a wire. And we can just actually, I didn't realize this, but we can just kind of go up here holding the mouse, left mouse button down. Releasing it and then clicking it again, and I could just go right through those. And when I want to make a corner, I release my mouse button, I click it again, come down here, release, click, and then click to finish, and it will wire everything up here. So the main thing to notice is that there's certain nodes that LTspice and any Spice program has. So I can just put my mouse over this, and in this lower left corner down here you can see what node it is. So this is the ground node. If I go up here, this has been labeled node 1, and we're back to ground. So as we put our circuit together, LTspice is going to name those as nodes. Sometimes we might want to name our own nodes. And so let's just see how we can do that. Before I get to do that, just a real quick recap. Remember, you can click the scissors to get rid of things, and you can use this to make a copy. So if you wanted to make a copy, you could just do that. Now you've got a copy of it. And the other thing to note is that if you want to undo things, you can hit the F9 key. Alright, so let's take a look at a circuit that I've already drawn here. And you can see that I've already labeled some things with these N1, N2, N3, N4. So if I hover over the top of this one, I should get ground. But if I come up here, remember LTspice normally had a small n and then 001, but now it's called N1. And this node is called N2, and this calls N4. And 3, and I could call them anything I want. I could just have a number. I could have, I guess, letters and numbers. The other thing you can see here is I have these labeled here, like V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. So how to do that is you can come over here and click on this one, which is text, or by going to edit and text here, or it looks like a T will also work, and it's going to bring up this box here, and you can see it says comment. So I can type out anything I want, and if I want to start a new line, I can hit Control M and that'll give me a new line. And then I can place some kind of text anywhere I want, and that's just to annotate. It doesn't have any effect on how the circuit is simulated. So another thing that you can see here is I've drawn these little wires coming out where I have N3. So if you just put, let me show you how to put that on there. First of all, you hit this label net, and this box will come up, so you can have a couple different things. This is what we're interested in, so if I wanted to say like A5, I could do that, and I'll hit OK, and I could place that somewhere, and you can see how it kind of goes off to the corner like that. Okay, and it says node A5. And so I'm going to hit F9 to get rid of that. So a way to format a little better is to put just a little line out here. So in fact, maybe I'll just leave that. So let me hit a wire, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to click, and then I'm going to come over here, and just to keep them even with the other ones, I'm going to click again, and then I'm going to right-click to stop it. So you click to put the wire in, move over where you want. That's a left click, move over, left click again, and then right click to stop the wire. And we can see that. So if I grab, say, this move hand and grab my A5 here, I can move it, and you see it has that little blue box. And if I put that blue box on the end of this wire, it'll go there, and it looks a lot neater. So to get rid of all of that, I'm just going to clip all that out. And then we could kind of see if I can just get back to something that looks a little better. This should fill the screen. So I've also put these wires out here because I'm going to run a operating point, and then it'll put the voltages right there. If I don't have these wires here, those voltage values kind of go up and down here, and it doesn't look that good. So I think this looks a little better. So the next thing we want to do is run a simulation. And I've already got this .op, which means it's going to run a simulation, so I'm going to get rid of that real quick and show you how that happens. Now I can put these dots over here by hitting that, and it's a SPICE directive, and I can type in, if I know the SPICE directive I want to put on my circuit, I can type that in if I know the format for it. It usually starts with a period and then a command and some other things that you need, and that does affect the simulation. So I'm going to cancel that, but let's go up here to this run guy. So if I don't have a direct SPICE directive down here and I hit this, I'm going to get a menu asking me what I want to do. And there's several different types of analysis I can do. I can do a transient analysis and all of these, and what we're looking for is a DC operating point. And it's just going to calculate the DC voltages in our circuit. And since we have a DC circuit, that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to put that SPICE directive down here, which is .op. And I could have used the other thing to put it in here also. And you can see once I run this simulation, I'm going to get some voltages. And don't know if I really like that output too much. But let's close this, and I should get a SPICE log. Nope. And if I go over here, click, and I'm going to get these voltages. Okay. And here. So you can see it's a lot better. Let's just even see. I don't know if I can cut that and maybe put that in a little different spot. So I'm going to hit escape to get rid of my scissors. I don't know if I can hit the end of this. Will it go out there? Sure does. So now I've got my voltages displayed. The other thing you can do is go up to your Tools and Control panel, and you can go to your drafting options, and you can change the size of your text. So normally I think it starts out as the default of being 28. So you can see you can make these values smaller or bigger, however you want to do it. So I think 14 right here was a pretty decent size for doing that. So I hope that helped. So another thing to look at is when you run this simulation, this operating point simulation, the best thing to do if you need these values is copy these and paste them to something like Notepad or something that you're using, or Word, or anything that you want to use. The other thing that you can look at is also the SPICE error log. And if you have any, usually it will pop up if you have an error, but if you need some information here, this is kind of how the simulation went. And the other thing that you may be interested in looking at would be the Netlist. So the Netlist is just basically the text version of your circuit. I've got a V1, and that's between node 1 and node 0, and it's 5 volts. I have an R1, right here, and that's between node N1, which I've labeled N1 here, and node N2, which I've labeled N2, and it's 100 ohms. So you can actually just write your text thing like here, then you have to end, here's your SPICE directive, you always have to end up with a dot back ANO and a dot end statement at the end of your Netlist if you're going to do it text-based. So I hope that helps, and let me know if you need some more information. And before I go, there was one other thing that I noticed, that when I ran this simulation, I didn't get any currents at all. And so I went back to look to see what the problem was. So now you can see I've not only have voltages, and but I also have currents in here. So I'll show you what I did to make that happen. And let me close this first, and you can see it kind of came up with question marks and then reapplied those. And if you wanted to get rid of them, you could. These voltages, you could just cut them and then run another simulation. But to get those currents, what I noticed that I went to Tools, Control Panel, and under Save Defaults, I had not didn't have this checked, which I think is checked by default. So I had it like this, and that's why I think we didn't get the device current. So now I have it clicked, and it shows up those currents. Thank you.